Once again, thanks for joining Sensible Politics with your host Greg. And
I'm Chris.
all right, where you at, Chris? How's it going?
Yep, doing well. Day before game day.
Yeah, it's almost that time. It's Super Bowl of politics, one day away. So what you gonna be doing for the party? You gonna have a bunch of people over? And what are Republican snacks? What will Republicans eat for the election?
um, I'm gonna be cleaning my guns, loading my mags.
Oh yeah, you getting
Um,
ready for the uprising? I was thinking potato salad with raisins in it, but yeah, y'all
but
ready for the get down? Yeah. So at this point, I don't know when this is gonna post. It'll probably be this afternoon. So we're about 30 something hours away, 30 hours away or so from when we first get some election results. Well, maybe. Let me see what time. 5 or 6 o'clock. Indiana goes for Trump usually, and then Kentucky. Uh, all the red states go, and then so we'll see what happens pretty soon. But that's when the polls close in these Midwest states. What, like 5 or 6 o'clock or something like that?
no, I think it's like 7.
Oh, we go later now. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, it's gonna be 8, 9 o'clock before we really start getting a good amount of votes in. I mean, the ones that really matter. I mean, it's gonna be Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Those are the Florida.
But those are going to be
It,
so close that they're going to take forever.
yeah, yeah. If Trump loses Florida, it's over. So I mean, there's no path where he could win without Florida.
Yeah.
So
Well, I wouldn't doubt that he wouldn't pick up Florida though. I mean, the one thing I think that is out of his favor with Florida is they probably got really high cases of coronavirus deaths based on the age of the demographic in Florida. But that is his
mhm.
home state. He should be able to carry that.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, he carried it last time, and then the Cuban population down there really is Republican. They understand what it's like under socialists, communists. They go to the right pretty hard.
They're stupid then.
No, because they fled. They understand what it's like living under that. See,
But
we,
they're stupid then because Trump is a tyrant. I mean, I don't care which side of the aisle you put him on. If you just say he's not a communist, he's still a tyrant. He still, said I ain't leaving office if I lose. I mean, he's
he
not.
didn't say that.
He did say that.
He, no. You guys see. Okay,
Proud
Trump.
Boys, hold down, stand back, hold up, burn some people up if I don't win.
You see, Trump does this stuff on purpose. So when they ask him a ridiculous question, will you leave the White House if you lose? Like, what is he gonna do? Chain himself to the desk and hire some security guards or something and have a gun fight right there in the White House? Like, so when you're asking a stupid question like that, he purposely will do stuff just to get the media to run with that because he knows if I give him this type of answer, they're gonna run with it, and this is what they're gonna be talking
And
about.
you
So
know who
he
else
can.
is running with it? His supporters.
Nobody believes that he's gonna have a just fight it out and
He's
say
not
no.
going to be the one fighting. He's going to have other people are going to be doing his fighting for him. It's going to be his. Now, I looked in New York, and they're preparing for the worst.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
mean, they're boarding up the Macy's and all the department stores and all the retailers, and they're expecting something bad to happen. Do you think
Yeah.
that's
It's
just like a figment of their imagination?
well. I mean, so okay. If if Trump wins,
That's not
there's
where the
gonna
problem's
be
going to be at. Is if Trump
no.
loses.
That's no. Okay, so Trump supporters have been burning down cities throughout the country all year long. Trump
Probably,
supporters have been
probably. I
rioting,
don't. We don't know
looting
who. We don't know who.
stores.
It's not fair to say it's all Black Lives Matter and this that. Or we don't know who's who.
Yeah, all these riots, all these looting, everything that's been going on. These are not Trump
Rittenhouse was a Trump
supporters,
supporter. Rittenhouse was a Trump supporter. He shot people. So
and he wasn't rioting. He wasn't
he
looting.
shot people. I mean, he's violent. So, but let's not even waste time with that conversation of is it the right or the left. It's not a figment of the imagination to say that, like you've been talking this. Oh, I think we're having a civil war stuff for several months now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't. It doesn't really matter who starts it on which side, but there's something there.
So
and I've been a civil war in denial. It's like I don't think it's that deep, but somebody thinks it is. You one of those people that thinks it is.
A lot of people do. I believe that. Okay, so this is I'm kind of torn here. All right, so this is my personal beliefs. I'm not saying it's fact, obviously, but if Trump wins, the likelihood of a civil war is very high. If Biden wins, I don't think it's very high.
That's what I just said.
No, you said the opposite. You said that it would be Trump supporters that would be causing the rioting. So
hold on. You said if Trump wins, the likelihood is very high, right?
Yes.
If Trump wins.
If Trump wins. Yes.
Oh no. Okay, you're wrong. Okay, yeah.
Because we've already seen that we don't have these massive riots and protesting going on the right. And this is all coming from the left.
Yes, we do, because they're the ones who are fighting them on the opposite side. They're out there too. Okay, whoever. But no, I mean, like the people with the guns.
What you're saying is just factually not correct.
There's nobody on the right outside going against the rioters. There's no Proud Boys to offset Antifa.
Where are the buildings being burned down? And
whatever, Chris. Are they there? Are they there? We don't know who's burning down what because we don't have an identification on anybody. All we got is a bunch of people in masks. We don't know who's who.
When you have Antifa show up,
we don't know who Antifa is. Antifa doesn't have cards and carry names and everything. We don't know if Antifa. We don't know if these people. We don't know if these people.
They're carrying flags, Greg. You're just.
I know, but it doesn't. Okay, but it doesn't mean that they're actually who they say they are. A lot of people go out there as Black Lives Matter, but they're not that necessarily.
I agree with you there.
Rioters are not protesters.
I agree with you. So Antifa has infiltrated and stolen the Black Lives Matter movement.
I think they created it.
What Antifa so you had the Black Lives Matter movement, the sentiment of it is correct, but then it's been co-opted through Antifa, who knows that the public sentiment is better on people are more willing to accept the Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay, hold on. Let's not say it's Antifa because we don't know that for a fact, but we do know it's been co-opted by someone with influence. I'm not going to go as far as to say that's exactly who it is because we don't have anything to prove that. But it could be. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying we don't know for sure. I mean, we're just going by hearsay.
The fact of the matter remains that the Proud Boys are not fighting with police. They're not burning down
because they are the police.
Okay. All right.
I mean, the white supremacists are clicked in with the police. I mean, you don't got to look very far to find Nazi cops and white supremacist cops because they take their pictures all the time and they post them on the internet.
We have a supply and demand issue for Nazis. There is a huge.
That's the scariest thing I've heard. What does that mean?
There is a huge demand to find these Nazis that are everywhere.
They're not hiding.
And there's just not enough supply of them. So we're just looking in every direction trying to find these fake Nazis everywhere. So then everybody becomes a Nazi. If you vote for Trump, you're a Nazi. If you are a moderate Republican, you're a Nazi. There's not enough supply of Nazis to satisfy the demand for them.
If you look at, you remember Amber Geiger, if you search her on the internet and you look for pictures of her, you'll find her with a whole lot of people making those Proud Boy OK signs and a lot of Pepe the Frogs. So if that's all imagination and that's just, trying to supply a demand, I mean, so be it. But the proof is there.
Okay. Well, this is great. So, because we're going to find out here within a few days. Hopefully within a few days. Hopefully this doesn't drag out like what I'm scared of having like a 2000 election
You know,
with
that's what this reminds me of.
yeah, that's what I'm scared of. But hopefully we find out here within a few days to a week exactly who won. And I'm telling you, if Trump wins, the riots and protesting is going to be insane. If Biden wins, I do not see there might be a lot of people upset and stuff, but I do not see buildings getting set on fire. I do not see riots going anywhere because Trump supporters got to go to work in the morning. We got shit to do. We got our families to take care of. We don't have time to go out there in the streets and riot and do all this stuff.
Yeah, see, I think where you may be being a little naive is to think that you're one of those people. You don't even drive a pickup truck. You ain't no real Trump supporter.
I would love to have a pickup truck. I just can't afford an extra vehicle.
Well, yeah, but those real Trump supporters, they all got pickup trucks and they got 2 or 3, 4 flags in it.
Yeah, and they're construction workers most likely, or
I don't know what they do, but if they're construction workers, they don't got to work on Monday because it's wintertime.
We'll see. I do think that what I'm hoping for is just an outright, like if you want to draw like a football analogy, I hope that it's a 63-0 score. Like this is just an outright landslide, absolute repudiation of the left, and just destroy it. If it's a close election and if Trump wins and it's a close election, it's not going to be enough.
My dream scenario is a do-over.
A do-over?
Start all the way over from scratch. New candidates, new everything. Neither one of these bums. Get them out of there and start over from scratch. That would be my ideal scenario. It's never going to happen, but yeah, that would be the ideal situation for me. I think the Democrats need a do-over because they got to be nervous right now because they don't have a clue what's going to happen.
I just can't see a feeble old man who can barely talk and forgets.
Which one are we talking about?
The
fat one or the thin one?
Yeah, the one that can't pronounce sentences and forgets so much stuff. Like, I mean, you remember when Hillary Clinton ran that ad against Donald Trump, and it was about the 3 a.m. phone call, about how she's going to answer that 3 a.m. phone call and be ready. Like, do you really think Biden is up to the task to do that? Like, he's probably eating dinner at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and in bed by 7. Like,
let's not be age discriminant.
I just don't see it. I mean, the man and then also with these rallies, like Biden has like 30 people show up to his rallies. Trump had 57,000 people at just one of his rallies that he did, and he did like 5 in one day yesterday.
Yeah, that's totally irresponsible coming from the viewpoint of a person with COVID-19.
Okay.
It's just totally irresponsible. Like, I wouldn't even think to do something like that. Like, I wouldn't show up. That's real loyalty.
What?
To show up with 37,000 people somewhere, knowing the likelihood 57,000 people somewhere and knowing the likelihood of getting sick. It's like, I don't know, maybe they don't know the likelihood of getting sick. But my perspective on things is in a different place probably than most people who haven't been infected, since like I'm going through the thing right now. I look at things totally different. Like, the one thing that I fear the most is, like, I wouldn't want to get somebody else sick that causes somebody to die because of my, recklessness, or because I was not cautious or careful or something like that. Like, some people like are probably still like moving like out there with COVID, spreading it to other people, giving it to other people. Like, you ever think about, like, when you go to the store, it's like, all right, you pick up something and then it's like, nah, I don't want it. Well, what if somebody with COVID picked that up and then you touch it, you know what I'm saying, and you don't hand sanitize on your way out the door? So it's like, I like think of the trace thing like all the way through way differently than a person who hasn't, contracted it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I don't. Well, I don't see how you justify in a pandemic to gather 57,000 people.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you have a different perspective, you being a Trump supporter, I guess. But you don't think that's foolishness?
Not really. No. So I mean, so let's. I mean, we kind of beat around the bush here, but so you got the coronavirus.
Yeah.
You have it still.
Yeah.
Isn't um
Uh,
as far as like your symptoms and how you felt, how has that affected you and stuff? What is it like?
uh, it's very uncomfortable. It's like the symptoms are so strange and weird. Like when you got a cold or a cough or something like that, you know what it is. But the COVID has so many different symptoms that you don't even realize that you're having a symptom. Sometimes it's like, what is that? It's like, like with the breathing. Like I woke up one morning and it was just like, not thinking. It's like, because it doesn't feel like after you just ran a couple miles and you just bend over and you catch your breath. It's like it's like just happening. It's just like out of nowhere, and no matter how long you bend over and breathe, your breath ain't coming back. That's a scary thing. I had terrible headaches. My headaches were awful. Like every day, my head felt like it was like being squeezed. Remember those commercials they used to do when they put the head in a vice? I don't know if it was Advil or something,
Yeah.
and it just squeezes your head. I felt that for like days upon days upon days. Every day I woke up and my head was killing me. Um, I don't
When you
have a.
say it's hard to breathe, is it like because like you have like a bunch of mucus buildup, or is it just like restriction without the mucus?
It's probably both because I didn't like. I could blow my nose and nothing came out. So the doctor, when they look at you and they examine you, they look for fluid back up and fluid build up through the ears. So the fluid is backing up through the back of the head somewhere.
Hmm.
That's where the drainage is going. But it's not like I can feel mucus and just. So it's like this.
So it doesn't feel like you're like coughing and
Mm-mm.
like shooting up like green stuff or
Right.
anything like that.
Yeah. I didn't get
Huh.
any of that. Some people do. I think they ask if you have a cough, but no, I haven't spit anything up.
Fevers or anything or
Oh God,
cold?
yeah. Oh yeah. Temperature go up and down, up and down. Blood pressure went up. Yes. The fevers were mad, and the chills, because like out of nowhere I just start freezing cold, be wrapped up in 3 blankets, just chilly as can be. And I'm looking at the thermostat, and it's like 80 degrees in the house. Like, all right, this ain't normal.
Hmm. At any point, did you ever feel like you were gonna die?
Um, I didn't feel like I was on death's bed at any point, but I also didn't sleep on the fact that things can turn around just like that. It's like the breathing thing could get to the point where it's like prolonged. Like what if you go for a few minutes and you can't breathe, that's one thing. But what happens if it's like 30, 40 minutes and your oxygen isn't what it used to be? The thing I'm most scared of is dying later. Because, when you got something new, sometimes later on in life, this thing can come back and haunt you, and that could be what kills you. So I'm not really as afraid like I think something's going to happen today, because just from looking at everything, I'm seeing people recover, but we don't know what the long-term ramifications are. I've heard of people who have had certain diseases and then it comes back and it causes cancer 20 years later. So I'm more concerned with the long-term stuff. I'm like not as sharp as I was before. Like I like try to think of like I'm talking or something like that, and then like the words that used to come easy like escape me now. Like I'm really like hard to focus, and And I don't know if that comes from the pain or just being sick or whatever, but there's some mental faculties that I've seen diminish since I got sick. I'd hate to be stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, being sick is one thing, but being stupid is like permanent, man. Don't nobody want to be stupid.
And as far as like any like treatments, I mean, what has the doctors given you or done for you?
Nothing. Um, they recommended uh, nasal spray, Tylenol, ibuprofen, basically
So
your cold stuff, your
just
basic cold medicine. I didn't get that stuff that Trump got.
just over the counter stuff, just like normal, like
Yeah.
Walgreens.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. I take vitamins, and then I got pre-existing conditions, so I got high blood pressure, so I take my blood pressure pills, and uh, I take some ibuprofen if the headaches get too bad. I try not to take too much medicine. I don't like to fill myself up with drugs, but if it gets too, unbearable, I'll go with some ibuprofen. One thing that worked good for me was I used a neti pot and cleaned my sinuses out with saline,
Yeah.
and then sprayed some nasal spray on top of that. That seemed to open like the breathing up and help that. But yep,
Okay.
they didn't give me anything. They didn't recommend much of anything. It's just like if you get 103-degree temperature, go straight to the hospital. And that was about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So with this disease that we have killed the economy over, shut all kinds of stuff down, and then the treatment is shit you can go buy at Walgreens.
Not necessarily, because
I mean,
if you're, for me it was, but if your symptoms are much worse, then there is going to need be some kind of help, hospital care or something like that. But I think the thing is the fact we don't know how anybody's going to be affected. If you just roll the dice and say, all right, you get it, and some people are going to die and just be that, you still got to be prepared for the people that do get really, really sick behind it.
yeah.
Yeah,
no,
certain people aren't going to handle it. Like Trump had to go to the hospital. I didn't have to go to the hospital. I'm obviously much healthier than he is. He's, even more overweight than I am. But at the same time, it is serious for some people.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough that it wasn't, like that for me. But I'm not going to diminish the fact that like a couple 100,000 people died from this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to. Obviously, it's your experience. You're going through it, but I mean, it sounds like a case of a pretty bad flu. It's probably worse than
I wouldn't
what
call
a
it the flu. I wouldn't call it the flu. It does not feel like the flu. I don't even know where that comparison comes from, except the fact that it's a virus. It is not the flu. It don't feel like the flu. You don't move like the flu. You get the flu, and in a couple of days, you're all right. This ain't that. This is not that by any means.
Well, the symptoms are
No, they're not.
similar.
No, they're not. They're not even close. I mean, if you're talking about a headache and a fever, well, a fever is just a bodily reaction to a virus. So that doesn't make it the flu. It's not the flu. Your body is in such aches and pain. Like you just start hurting for no reason in every extremity of your body. That doesn't happen when you get the flu. When you get the flu, you go to sleep for 2 or 3 days, and then you wake up, and then you feel better. Well, with this COVID thing, you wake up every day and you never feel better. It's like, is this thing gonna end? So no, I wouldn't even compare it to the flu, except the fact that certain symptoms can be treated with stuff that you get over the counter, and fluids and liquids and stuff like that. But that's just because of the body's reaction to the illness. But I don't know where the flu comes from. I don't even get that. After having it, it don't remind me of the flu at all.
I don't know. I just think that from a lot of people's perspective is that because you're probably taken this seriously this whole time, right? I mean, you're not out in bars making out with random people, and I mean, you're not just living carefree, and you've probably been wearing masks and stuff like that, correct?
A little bit of both. I've slipped at times. I've gone to bars, stopped in, get a drink. I've gone to restaurants, like pickup, or I'll wait till it's really slow and think there's some kind of like safety behind not a lot of people being in the room. Um,
I mean, you're not like an anti-masker or anything like that.
I wear the mask, but at the same time, I'm not naive enough to think that when you go out to eat somewhere, you go out to drink, that you're going to be safe with the mask on until you, even when you take the mask down to eat.
Yeah.
So I think there's still risk involved, even with a
Yes.
mask. So, yeah, but I'm more considerate of it and cautious of it probably, because I got to go to work every day and I work in a place with several thousand people. Crossing paths with a lot of people. So, yeah, I don't really have much of a choice. I mean, they require me to wear a mask all day at work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I was kind of trying to get to is that I think even if you take this really seriously, and a lot of people have, I think your chances of getting it's still a risk out there. I mean, I don't think unless you literally just quarantine yourself and have like months of food set aside somehow that you never have to come in contact with anybody, I think this will eventually kind of like run its course, like almost like most people are going to end up having to get it. Like you just can't, it's almost inevitable. Like, unless, I mean, what other precautions can you take? I mean, I don't think there's some magic wand that you can't just walk around in plexiglass. So,
Well, I don't think it was ever magic from the beginning. I think if you would have handled it before it was a huge problem, would have been the situation. I mean, if you look at other countries, they handled it much better and they don't have the cases like we do.
there's a lot of countries that are going right back into shutdowns again in Europe and in Canada. Um, they're starting to do all kinds of
And their
shut.
number, but I mean, maybe they don't have the population we have, but their numbers don't look like ours either.
No, I mean, but their numbers are going up. That's why they're
They're
going
up,
back
but how
into
much? Like what is up though? Like they're spiking up, but our numbers are astronomical in comparison.
well, they're spiking up to the point to where they want to do lockdowns again. So I don't know what they're spiking up to, but they're doing lockdowns again because the numbers have gone to a certain point. So
It's flu
uh,
season, you know.
yeah,
So people are,
yeah,
the cold weather is not in your favor when it comes to, fighting viruses.
yeah. I just from my perspective, like I don't want to like get it, but I'm also not gonna
You kind of sound like you want it.
live in. I I kind of want to get it. I
Just
will
so you can say,
initially.
I told you it wasn't that bad. I've never felt
There's
better.
there's a small part of me that's like, you know what?
I
I'm
can
healthy.
beat it. I can beat it.
Yeah.
And then you don't beat it. He's an
Yeah.
idiot. He wanted it so fucking bad.
No, I really don't want it, but I would prefer to not allow it to take over my life and just I like let the
I
cards
would
fall where
prefer,
they may.
you know what, Chris? I would prefer if the thing never existed. But that's not the world we live in.
You would prefer what?
I would prefer that it never happened at all. I would prefer the
Yeah.
thing never existed. But that's not the world we live in. And so we got to live in the world that we got. And we have to
It's just
move accordingly. I mean, we can't pretend it ain't there.
because what they found now is the doctors have gotten a lot better at treating people. Like if you get like a really bad case of it, because this is the weird part of this virus is some people get it like they feel like they're about ready to die. Then other people can get stuff at Walgreens and treat it with, like in your case.
But that's what's
So it's
scary about it is we don't know
you
who's
never
who.
know who. Yeah, you never know what luck of the draw you're gonna get.
Right.
But what the doctors have done is, I mean, they've gotten better at treating this, and it's down to a 99% survival rate right now on this. So I think to me, like, I'm willing to take that chance. I don't want to. I don't think it's valid enough reason for all the other consequences of destroying the economy, people losing their businesses.
Okay, hold on, hold on,
Um,
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
Suicides
hold
have
on,
gone through the roof.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. When we talk about destroying the economy is not destroyed. Maybe the numbers look bad for Trump as far as a re-election goes, but the economy is not destroyed. I mean, commerce is still moving. Like,
Joe Biden would say differently. He says the economy is in the toilet. I mean,
we'll
I
agree to we'll agree to disagree on that as far as he and I will. Um, but he has to make it look worse than what it actually is, even if it is a little bit exaggeration. But the economy is not in the toilet as a result of sitting down for a couple of weeks.
Well, see, but that's the difference, though. In our state, we had shutdowns for like a month or two, but in California and New York and some of these other states out there, they never changed. They never lifted the lockdowns. They stayed the same way all the way through. You're talking 8 months now. They've been on lockdown. Um, the, I mean, there's people getting arrested for getting haircuts and stuff like that. I mean, this is in some states. They're how do you say that, draconian, um, with these measures. I mean, people are fleeing California simply because of the lockdowns. So in that areas, they are very economically impacted over this for a 99% survival rate. Like in the beginning, we were really scared. We thought that this was going to be millions of people dying. Like this was like the plague. Um, I was scared as hell when this first started. But then after the numbers started coming, it's like, well, got a 99% chance. Like that's that's better than driving sometimes. I mean, you can die in a car accident. I mean, but we don't say never drive a car again. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm looking up the survival rate data that you just threw out there. You got a source for that? You sound like Donald Trump Jr. saying nobody's died.
I'm not saying nobody's dying. I'm saying that the survival rate is extremely high, and almost everybody who has died with it has comorbidities. They already had other issues, and this kind of pushed them over. Does it mean that they wouldn't have died? So I mean, if they didn't get it, they probably could have lived longer, but they already had major issues.
So I'm seeing this thing. It's like, I guess the median group is, they break it down by age, and the median group is like 18 to 29. Once you hit 30, you're 4 times higher likelihood of death. Once you hit 40, you're 10 times higher likelihood of death. 30 times at 50. At 65, you're 90 times more likely to die. 75, you're 220 times more likely to die. And then at 85, you're 630 times more likely to die. So the older you get,
times, because in the first age group, what was the first age group? 18 to 29.
18 and 29. That's the comparison group. Yeah.
It's probably like 0.0001, because I mean hardly anybody's dying in that age group. There's almost none. So when you say 600 times more,
I wouldn't say that.
When you say it's 600 times more likely to die if you're 85 versus these 0.0001% of the deaths with the younger people, that's how they get that number, to make it sound like, oh my God, you're so much.
I get that, but if 230,000 people have died, that's still a lot.
Out of a country of 300
it's
million.
Still a lot, especially when nobody died from coronavirus last year.
I don't know. Suicides are up.
So you saying these are suicides?
No, I'm not saying those are suicides, but the suicide numbers, a separate category, those are up. I mean, in these states, they're not allowing you to do anything. In some of these other states, and I truly think this is all over the election. This overreaction to this, because like there was a podcast I was listening to with some major lefties, they absolutely hate Donald Trump and they despise him, and one of them was a really highfalutin doctor, and they were basically admitting that, yeah, maybe we overreacted. The death rate is nowhere near what we thought it would be. I mean, even in Trump's case, I remember when he got it, they almost had to admit their overreaction, because they said even though he's overweight, which puts him in a bad category, and even though he's over 70, which puts him in a bad category, he still has a 98% chance to live. Like, so you just admitted that in one of the worst categories a person could be in, they got a 98% chance. And
his chances his chances are probably better than the average person, right?
Well, yeah, because he's the president. But just even off of those categories, even if he was just a normal person, just a normal everyday guy who's overweight in his 70s, still has a 98% chance that he's going to live.
I get where you're coming from, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that it sounds like you're going to the extent to say that it's better if we do nothing.
I'm not saying
that's what it sounds like, is what I'm saying. It's like, that's why I'm like resistant to go along with you when you say these things, because it's like, is he just saying we should just walk around and just say forget it?
No, I think we should take precautions. We understand that washing.
But that's all we are doing, is taking precautions.
Yeah. But that's not what they're doing in a lot of these other states. These other states are doing straight up lockdowns. There's states where moms out in the park with her kids have gotten taken to jail because she was outside. Like, this is ridiculous. And all over a 99% chance that you're going to live for a virus. So we know what precautions to take. We can take those, and let's reopen everything. And be mindful. Wash your hands. Do all the stuff that needs to be done. If you wear masks.
I still see people not washing their hands after they use the bathroom.
Really?
Yes. I still see people that don't wash their hands when they go to the bathroom. Disgusting. I was at work one day, and it's like I'm sitting at the sink, and then this guy walks behind me. Like, really? You just gonna go in there and piss and not wash your hands? And this? Man, please. So some people still ain't gonna wash their hands. I don't know what's wrong with these motherfuckers, man. Who wouldn't wash their hands? Wash your hands. Nasty asses.
There we go. That's a bipartisan issue. We can agree to wash your hands. And I'm going to get conspiratorial here, because I kind of like conspiracies.
Even though most of them aren't true. Some are, but
you got two really big states that have huge economies, New York and California. Okay. Those two economies are still shut down. You're still not allowed to go to gyms. You're not allowed to go to bars. You're not allowed to have restaurants open. All these two enormous economy states that are deeply Democrat are still refusing to open up, even to this day. And then they've stayed closed this entire time.
Okay, this argument makes a lot more sense than your others.
Yeah,
So,
I think that this was literally, they knew that the economy, before coronavirus came, the economy was killing it. Everybody was making a lot more money than they were making before all this pandemic stuff happened. And they knew that if the likelihood of having a different president than Donald Trump with the economy so good was like almost nothing. They had to find a way to kill the economy. And we're not going to open up these two huge economies in these states to help the numbers. We want to keep the economy numbers looking bad.
okay. All right, I'm going to throw you a curveball. I think it's the total opposite of what you just said. If you look at the elite, the multi-billionaires, if you look at the Jeff Bezos and the Elon Musks and all those other people, who I think you would probably consider liberals, right?
Yeah.
Their wealth has increased astronomically as a result of this pandemic.
Yeah, especially Amazon and Walmart.
Yeah.
Well, because they won't let any of the small places be open, but you have to go to Walmart or these big chains.
Right. Exactly. I think it's not necessarily that they're destroying the economy. I think the Democrats are, which I think they've always been guilty of, making the rich richer.
Oh. I can get on board with you here.
When I look at the stock market, I'll be honest with you, man, my stock numbers are going through the roof. Like I looked at my I looked at a couple of my retirement accounts and I looked at, some of my stocks and dude, I bought Snapchat 2 years ago for like $28 a share and I lost almost everything that I put into it. It was the worst stock I ever bought. And then after this thing happened, that stuff has got up to $42 a share. I had sold it. I was like, it got up to about 23, and I was like, I'm getting out of here before this thing fall again. And it shot all the way up to 40 something dollars. Just like so. And when I look back in retrospect, I've never bought a bad stock, but I just didn't have the patience or the discipline to wait
To
this
hold it.
thing out. Yeah. But the stock market is doing great. I don't know
Yeah.
where this economy is in the toilet is even coming from. Because if you got money, you're making money. If you got investments, you're making money right now. And if you stop making money, the government is giving you money. They're bailing everybody. They're bailing corporations out.
Yeah, but well, I mean, a lot of those, because the additional $600 a week thing ended nationwide. So, like,
But they
if
still
you're
let all the corporations, put their hand out and take a bunch of money they didn't
Yeah.
need.
yeah, the corporate, but as far as like the individual workers, like if you're a
They're
cook,
losing. But the people always
Yeah.
lose. Small
If
businesses
you're
are always going to lose. Regular individuals are always going to lose. They lose in every situation because all they're going to get
Yeah.
is get crumbs, and that's the same policy of Republicans and Democrats. You trickle down crumbs to the peasants.
yeah, I mean, if you're a bartender in some of the in New York or California, or a waitress or a cook or any of these things,
And speaking of,
you're over with.
and speaking of that, the fact that they don't even get paid wages and they don't get benefits or anything like that should be criminal. The fact that waitresses don't make an hourly rate, that bartenders don't make an hourly rate, that you don't have to pay them anything,
Well,
should be
they
criminal.
Get,
I know they
have,
get tips, but their money is they're working for that company. They're doing a service for whatever company they work for. They're not being paid anything except on the kindness and the generosity of the patron, who may not even have it in their mind to want to even pay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
I
should be
always-
criminal. I mean, they should make a livable wage to start with, but like when business goes down, there's nothing to supplement them. So that's why they're in such a terrible predicament, because there's no protection.
But I do believe that these big states, these deeply democratic
Texas.
states. No, I'm saying
It's a big state.
Texas is open. Texas is open,
And they got
They're
more
not
deaths than
closed.
everybody.
but they're not hurting their economy over it. I really think that California, New York, they purposely wanted to try to hurt the economy, to keep the numbers down, to increase the chances of not reelecting Trump.
Well, if that's the case, it's an illusion. And if people look deeper, the economy is not affected. The people are affected.
Yes.
So yeah, it's an illusion, though.
Because when you have jobless claims and you have this huge number of people on unemployment, that looks really bad.
Especially, and the fact that I would rather have been on unemployment because I made so much money on unemployment. I'd rather not have gone back to work. When people say, "Oh, they want to go back to work," like, are they stupid? Well, they getting paid this. They getting paid $900, $1,000 a week to sit, but they rather go to work. They're stupid. Let's sit down and enjoy this a little longer. Keep this thing shut down.
But if you look at the states that are all around them, they're open. But then you have this one huge state that doesn't open. The states all around California are open, but California is not open.
Well, I don't doubt that California is the breeding ground for the study of martial law.
Breeding ground for communism over there.
I don't know about communism, but I think it's some kind of government control. I don't like words like communism because that's a generic term that really doesn't describe the situation. Like, even communism isn't communism. Like, if you look at like Cuba, it's not actually really a communist regime. It's just a ugly word they use. But we did a podcast on communism and everything. But I don't like the use of these words because they're just words that are used to scare you.
So, Alrighty. Well, so who do you think is going to win?
I
If you
think the
had to,
American people are gonna lose.
if you had to bet $100, who would you bet on?
You know, at this point, okay, so let me do a little bit of history. I'm not gonna hold this up too long, but so 2000, that was the first time I voted. That's been 20 years. First time I voted was when Gore went against Bush the first time. I would have bet everything Gore was gonna win. There's no way he should have lost that election, and then poop, he lost. Next election, Bush. I was like, all right, he sucks. He's a terrible president. No way they'll elect him again, will they? Boop, reelected. Then came Barack Obama. No way they'll let a black guy be the president. Get the hell out of here. Boop, he won by a landslide. Come back the second time. It's like, well, he should beat this guy. He hates poor people. Shouldn't be a problem. Beats him, but not by a great margin. Then there's Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, I would have never thought Donald Trump would ever become president. Shocked the hell out of me. He won. But you know what? Like a day before, I felt like he's going to win. I think like they're wrong about everything. So common knowledge is telling me, can America stand another 4 years of Donald Trump? If I had to put money on it, I'd say, yeah, they can.
Yeah.
But the road for Donald Trump to win seems impossible.
It's
like
hard.
Everything has to go right. I mean, nothing can go wrong for him.
Well,
it's highly unlikely.
Just with the map, like, I mean, there's a I forgot what website I was on, but you can play with the electoral map. Like, you can change who wins what state and stuff, and it'll change the numbers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
He's got to win almost every swing state. Like, he can't even afford to lose one. I don't think. Like, can he afford to maybe lose one? Like, if he loses Wisconsin but wins Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida, does he still win? Or probably not.
He can. No, he can lose. It's tough. I mean, well, what makes it so hard is California is worth like 55 points, and then you got New York worth 30. I mean, that's a huge chunk that you have to make up. And then the states that Trump like wins, like North Dakota, Wyoming, those are worth 3 points.
They shouldn't be worth that. Nobody lives in Wyoming.
When you have one state worth 55.
What's capital Wyoming?
I have no idea.
What's a city in Wyoming? Name one city in Wyoming. They don't deserve 3, but go ahead.
But, well, I mean, a lot of like I think we're worth 11. Wyoming's worth 3. Okay, so I mean, it's proportional here, but yeah, he has to just sweep so many states just to make it. Now, I was playing with the map calculator thing, and if he loses Florida, it's pretty much over. But if he can win Arizona and he can win Michigan, he could still lose Pennsylvania and Wisconsin.
Here's the thing, like
so he needs at minimum he needs Arizona. He really has to take, and then I think he has a good shot at winning Michigan, because Michigan is one of those states that really locked down their people.
They tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. They are different kind of crazy up there.
Yeah, some idiots that wanted to do that. Yeah. And so, yeah, so I really think he has a good shot at that, because Biden even said he would do more lockdowns. So I think Michigan's like, screw this. We don't want to do this again. So,
well, just real quick, I think the California versus the New York thing kind of evens itself out when you talk about Texas and the whole South. Like, that whole line across the below the Mason-Dixon line, that's going to be 30. Compare that to Texas, and I mean that offsets California and New York.
Well, but Texas is the biggest state that the Republicans get, and that's worth like 36. But you have California at 55.
Like, yeah, but the Republicans are going to get Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, probably Kentucky. So, I mean, they're going to hold that whole part of the map down. The only thing that's in question is like a state here, a state there, a state there.
It's mainly the coastal cities, like the far East Coast, up on the
Yeah.
up there in New York,
And North Coast now.
and and then also on the West Coast is all Democrat. Washington, Oregon. So
I think
I don't
when
know.
when you live around other human beings, I think it makes the place more liberal. Because if you look at most of the Republican places, they're more rural.
Yeah, that is weird. That most big city areas, even in states that are considered to be red states, their
Like this one,
cities. Yeah,
Indianapolis and up by Chicago are more liberal leaning.
yeah. There's hardly any big city that is considered to be a Republican city.
Yeah, so Republicans just don't want to be around. They don't play well with others.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that why that is?
I, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird,
Maybe they
but
smell
yeah.
bad.
So,
I don't know, but man, that was 50 minutes, dude.
but you haven't. So who do you think's gonna win? You got to bet $100.
I ain't betting $100 on in this country. First of all, I don't believe in democracy. I'm not even convinced it's real. I'm not betting my money on something I can't control. But I'll say Biden.
You're gonna bet Biden?
Yeah, I'll go with Biden. I mean, cause last time I just had a hunch, like I just felt something in my stomach that was like, yeah, Trump is gonna win. Like I can feel it, you know. So yeah, I think I think Biden's gonna win, cause I don't have that uneasiness, you know. I remember when Trump won, I was at the bar, and the results came in, and like the bar was going nuts because Trump won, and I was like, what the hell am I doing in this place? I gotta get the hell out of here. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna bet. I think Trump wins, and I'm gonna take it even further. I don't think it's
You would bet
even gonna.
$100 that Trump's gonna win.
Yeah, and
Well, you
I
got
don't
it though.
even.
Would you bet 2,000?
I I don't even think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna
You
be.
say Trump by a landslide. You say he's gonna
And
win all these states.
I think it's gonna be an epic, just demolish. I don't think people realize how much that. No, I just I don't think it's even gonna be close.
Well,
Um,
you know what? If it is a landslide, maybe the Democrats will switch it up and run a good candidate next time.
Maybe they'll actually have a real primary.
I don't even care about the primary. Just like have a process.
Well, that's
for
how you
real.
get your candidate. That's how you get your. That's how
Nah.
you got Biden as their candidate.
Well-
Their primary was all collusion together. They colluded to let Biden win it.
But that's what I'm saying. I'd rather the actual process would play itself out as opposed to the politics behind it. Their primary is more like, who do we think gives us our best chance to give us what we want? I don't like their process of primary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here, what's going to happen is that I think it's going to be a landslide, and then the Democrats are going to have to look themselves in the face and say, we ran two terrible candidates
Back to back.
and they have to accept that, versus basically trying to say that that Donald Trump's the second coming of Hitler and all this stuff. They need to accept the fact that they ran a bad candidate. If they had run good candidates, this would probably have not have happened.
You know what I find really bizarre is the fact that they think that these bums like Hillary Clinton, and probably shouldn't call them bums, but these unliked individuals like Biden and Clinton are going to get Obama like support. Like him or hate him, he's kind of cool. Like he's got swag. He carries himself way differently than these two other people. You can't expect to have that same support when you kind of got a rock star.
Yep.
And then you run anybody else and say, come out like you did for him. You know, like him the way, you know, you like those other people. Like, no, it's not going to happen. I don't get that naivety to think that you can't, you can't like run anybody. Like you got to you got to find another rock star.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing that I think the media and the Democrats completely miss. Like, I'm one of them. I voted for Barack Obama, and I voted for Trump, and I'm going to vote for him 2 times in a row. So this isn't like, and what they want to do is they want to try to blame the voters
Yeah, for
act
not
like
showing up. Yeah.
yeah, like there's some deplorable people. No, you're running bad candidates. I'm willing to listen to you if you run me a good candidate.
Yeah.
But you're not giving us anything. You give us a crooked woman who everybody could tell. I mean, she was taking money from all over the world, and her husband was into all kinds of stuff. I mean, they were crooked. And then you got Biden doing the same thing, and they're running these career politicians. And Barack Obama wasn't a career politician. That was the first big office he ever really ran for.
We'll agree to disagree.
Huh?
We'll agree to disagree. He just wasn't a career successful politician. He lost a bunch of times. He had been ready since he was young.
Yeah, but I mean, but nobody ever really heard of him.
Yeah, he came from out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, they, in the primary, when he was running against Hillary the first time around, he was basically like vetted, like any like little skeleton that they could find. Hillary threw it out there on him. Remember with the Reverend, what was that guy's name?
Which one? They made him condemn everybody, but you talking about his pastor?
Yeah, his
Jeremiah
pastor
Wright?
that got. Yes, yeah. That came out in the primary. That wasn't John McCain that brought that stuff out. They brought out the dirt. So then when it came to the general election,
John McCain wouldn't have went there. Only she would have the audacity to do something like that.
Yeah. But when it came to the general election, all the skeletons were already out. It's like, oh, we already heard this. But
but John McCain wasn't that dirty kind of dude either, though. Even if it was like it didn't come out until he was there, he wouldn't have said nothing about it. That's
I
just
did
not his
actually
style.
I saw a clip about that election, and when John McCain had a rally or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of his supporters.
That lady calling him said he wasn't American or something.
Yeah, I'm afraid of this man. This is going to be bad. And John McCain's like, no, he's a good, decent man. We just have some disagreements.
Yeah. Sarah Palin would have went all the way with it, but John McCain had more character than to do something like that. And it shows the difference between John McCain and Hillary Clinton, because she was low character. She'll do anything to win and still lost.
So if Biden loses, they need to really look themselves in the mirror and be like, we got to just stop fixing these primaries, and basically like, okay, it's Hillary's turn. Okay, Joe Biden's been around forever. It's his turn.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, this was the perfect opportunity to run The Rock. They should have ran The Rock. I don't know why they didn't run The Rock. I mean, The Rock would have beat Trump, like, by a landslide. Trump cannot talk shit with The Rock. That would have been some entertainment. Like, you can't out shit talk The Rock. If you'd have ran The Rock and Kevin Hart, it would have destroyed him.
The Rock and Kevin Hart.
The Rock and Kevin Hart, man. 2024, Rock and Kevin Hart.
Oh, God,
watch them do something stupid like LeBron and Cardi B. But
oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Rock and Kevin Hart. I'm putting it out there. I'm bringing it into existence. I want The Rock and Kevin Hart to run next time. If I can survive 8 years of Trump, man, give me 4 years of what The Rock is cooking.
Alrighty.
Well, all right, I'm done clowning around. I had some fun.
Let's hope that whoever wins, regardless, that it's peaceful in the end. So.
Yeah, let's hope America survives this thing. We're already the last stock of the world.
Maybe that'll be the good thing about it getting cold out now, that most people are like, you know what? I'm not going out there. It's too cold. Yeah. I'm going to stay in the house.
Man, if people could go to football games in the wintertime, they'll go out there for a fight, since they can't see their football right now. I saw the Bears game yesterday, and the stands were empty. It's like they're not even letting people come to the games no more. Why are we doing this? Y'all might as well be playing indoors.
Yeah, I do not like the fake crowd noise.
There is fake noise, ain't it?
It is fake crowd noise.
I didn't even notice there was noise there.
It's an empty stadium, and they're just piping it in through the audio. I don't like it. I would just rather hear it silent so you could hear all the calls and everything. But
yeah, you think all the players are going nuts, man? Like, that's why they having all these fights and brawls and stuff? I think the football players are losing their mind.
I think everybody's losing their mind, Greg. Have you looked at the news lately?
Well, yeah, and that shows that you lost your mind if you sit back and watch the news. I'm crazy, yeah. All right, let's shut it down. My fault.
All right. Well, hey, get better, Greg. Drink a bunch of water, please.
Indeed.
Beat
Yep.
this coronavirus.
Everybody stay safe out there. It's rough.
And guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. Please help us out.
Yeah, leave a review. All right, we're done here. Goodbye.
All right.